Tonight, the RCMP has taken over the search for a Coast Guard crew member missing at sea. That story. And
police charge a 16-year-old for bringing weapons into this St. John's school, and teachers are concerned.
When someone shows up on school grounds with weapons of any sort and with potentially some intent, extremely worrisome to us.
I'm Heather Gillis, and I'll have that story coming up on Here and Now.
You know, if anyone's on a thermal generation, north coast of Labrador, any of the islands around, the government will not grant these subsidies that they give everyone else.
Colder months are coming just as St. Brendan's gets cut off from home heating oil. One MHA says the province could prevent the problem.
I have done every one of them since 2002.
The Faster Pastor is back for another Targa, and this time he's teamed up with his granddaughter.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. Police have arrested and charged a teen for bringing weapons to a St. John's school. This as the province's Teachers Association has been speaking out about escalating violence in the public school system. Here and Now's Heather Gillis has the details.
Police say it started here at Waterford Valley High School in St. John's around 9 o'clock Monday morning. According to the Department of Education, a student had shown up, someone who wasn't allowed to be on school premises and refused to leave. That's what prompted school administrators to call police to remove the student. Officers found weapons and took a 16-year-old into custody. That teen is accused of causing a disturbance and is being charged with a weapons offense. A concerning case for the head of the Teachers Association.
But what I've heard is that there was sharp bladed instruments as well as defensive sprays like bear spray and such. So that, to my knowledge, there were blades. Yeah.
He's been vocal about the spike of violence staff are seeing in the province's schools, up 40% alone last year. This past spring, Langdon and the Teachers Association raised the alarm on increasing violence in schools. Langdon said last year there were an average of 29 violent incidents a day in the province's schools, and he wants more support to combat the problem.
And to fully resource our schools to the point where there's enough guidance counselors, enough educational psychologists, enough administrators, you know, and presume that we need more rather than saying, no, we just barely meet the formula, so we're good. That's not how it's working this day and age. With the rise in mental health, the rise in violence.
A rise that includes a brutal attack at another St. John's school in 2023 that sent one student to hospital with a head injury and resulted in charges against 5 others. The NLTA believes necessary support doesn't stop with students. Families need to be included, too.
We've been advocating strongly recently for hubs of support. We want to see social workers, we want to see public health nurses, we want to see a real connection between child, youth and family services with many of the families that we're supporting in our schools to see real partnerships.
Meanwhile, the Education Department says Waterford Valley will be bringing in appropriate disciplinary action for the 16-year-old student who brought weapons to school. Heather Gillis, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, police are taking over the investigation into a crew member who went missing from a Coast Guard ship earlier this week. Little is known about this incident. We can tell you that the crew member was on board the Vincent Massey on Sunday evening. According to DFO, that individual was reported missing Monday morning when the ship arrived in St. John's. The Canadian Coast Guard has been searching for the crew member from the air and at sea, and today it announced Coast Guard has turned the search over to the RCMP. Police say they are now investigating the incident as a missing person at sea. Residents of St. Brendan's will soon lose access to their home heating oil. As we reported last night, those deliveries are expected to stop in just over a week. But as Troy Turner reports in this update, the local MHA believes the province could solve the problem.
The school, the post office, the power plant, and the clinic all will stay warm in St. Brendan's this winter. But time is running out for residents who rely on oil to heat their homes. Lloyd Parrott says the province could offer a solution.
We need to find a way to make sure that the people that live in St. Brendan's are warm this winter. and look for a long-term solution. And government has the ability to do that. I'm not suggesting that government, go out and start subsidising private companies. We know how that works. But the people in Newfoundland and Labrador are already subsidising North Atlantic with the 5 cents per litre that we pay on every ounce of fuel that comes to the province. Part of that should be a guarantee that they're going to maintain and uphold their end of the bargain.
Many of St. Brendan's 100 or so residents are seniors. About half of them use oil, and the colder season is coming.
We got to get through this winter. So I'll remind everyone that it wasn't that long ago when gasoline was stopped being delivered to Fogo Island, and government stepped in and quickly made sure that got fixed. 6 weeks later, there's still no solution here. And there are solutions to be had. There's companies that are willing. They just need reassurances from government.
North Atlantic will continue to ship oil to its commercial customers on the island. The company wouldn't do an interview, but said in a statement that it stopped offering home heating in several parts of the province.
So they're still delivering fuel to the island, and they're provincial contracts. And perhaps it's time for government to step in and say, if you're not willing to do it all, then you're not going to be able to do any of it, and they can find someone else who can.
The province is hoping to facilitate a fix.
Minister Parsons has been seized with the issue to see if there's creative ways, and so is Minister Hutton, and I had to chat about it yesterday, about ways to ensure that they can have access to heating oil, and those discussions and concepts are ongoing right now.
The council in St. Brendan's is looking at ways to convert many of the homes to other sources of heat. That won't be in time for this winter, however, and now that temperatures are beginning to drop, many residents of St. Brendan's fear they'll be quite literally left out in the cold. Troy Turner, CBC News, Gander.
I'm here at Elizabeth Park Elementary, where something very special is about to happen. This summer, I interviewed the Anstey family who were in need of a wheelchair accessible vehicle for their son Jake, which are very expensive. But today they are in for quite the surprise.
You want to come see your new van? So Jake, up here, this is where Mom gets in, right here.
On January 8th of this year, Jake had a cardiac arrest, which took him from a very active, social, fun-loving little boy to in a wheelchair, nonverbal. We were so excited to be home, and then we were immediately met with the reality that that is accessible transportation, and we had a lot of stress, a lot of struggle, major limitations. Even with booking a day or two in advance, we weren't able to get them where we wanted to get them.
All right, buddy.
Our business in particular provides a network of transportation systems to hundreds of kids in the metro region that are in situations similar to Jake's. But the reason I got involved is because of Jennifer and Joanne.
So I was a teacher at Elizabeth Park Elementary for 3 years in a row, and of course I knew Jake from being a teacher here, and his story hit really close to home for me. And when I seen his story and realized he's such a young boy and he can't get to birthday parties or special events, I knew that we had to do something. So through a text message between myself and Joanne and Evan, I said, "Hey Evan, do you want to go have son of Van?" And he said, "Jennifer, I'm going to give you a call."
I can't even, my heart is about to burst. Ever since I got the news from Get Messy and Evan Bercy, I have been making a list of all the places I want to take Jake. It's getting long now. We're going to be on the go. And I am so incredibly thankful. And there's no, I said to my husband, he's right there, I said, like, how do you say thank you for a gift this big?
Well, that wasn't the only helpful vehicle donation today. CAA donated a fully electric van to the Community Food Sharing Association. The vehicle will help them pick up donations and reduce their fuel costs. It comes at a time when the association says donations are down, but demand is way up, including from more and more working families and seniors. The association's manager says they need more help from government.
There's so much more that government could be doing right now. We need to address the homelessness. We need to address mental health and addictions and offer support there. And, it's all related, right? So food insecurity, homelessness, mental health and addiction support, it's all related. So, we need to sit down and have conversations and how do we move forward to relieve some of the pressures and, and help people out. We really need to help people.
Mount Pearl is committed to being a place where the inherent rights of the Indigenous peoples of Newfoundland and Labrador, including urban Indigenous peoples, are respectfully recognized and actively supported by all.
Well, that's Mount Pearl Mayor Dave Aker at last night's council meeting, signing a declaration in support of the rights of Indigenous peoples. He says it's part of the city's commitment to advancing reconciliation ahead of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation on September 30th. Aker recognized the continuing effects of colonization on Indigenous peoples and says the city will support and promote the calls for action from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. He also says they'll work toward implementing the 42 calls for change in the First Voice Community Action Plan.
There's a lot in there. Was really happy to see that the City Council has put a lot of actionable steps, more than just platitudes or signing something to say they were signing it. They're working on implementing all kinds of calls for change, the calls for justice, the things that we've been working on for years, and trying to decolonize the practices here in Mount Pearl and the work that they're doing as well.
Well, some members of the Syrian community in the St. John's area got a treat yesterday. They were invited to a special screening of the new movie Skeet at the Majestic Theatre. The film is set in Chalker Place, a St. John's neighborhood many Syrians now call home, and some of the audience also starred in the movie.
This afternoon we have a screening of the film Skeet in Arabic subtitles. When we started going around talking to Syrian folks and Middle Eastern folks, we noticed that quite a few of them didn't speak English. And the lead, Jay, his son in the film, his name is Mahmoud Tom, and he's from Newfoundland, and his father is so excited to see the film, but he doesn't speak English. So we really wanted his father, his mother, and all kinds of Newfoundland Middle Eastern families to enjoy the film as well as English-speaking folks. So we're doing a special Arabic screening right now. And please enjoy the movie.
I think this is a very important aspect of it, especially that a lot of people, especially refugees around, would not receive the message as deeply as when there's subtitles in Arabic.
You take care, man. All right, we'll see you around.
I think it's a great movie, actually. I was inspired. I was feeling so happy because I'm watching something related to us, related to to our place, related to us as a Syrian Canadian in Newfoundland. So it was a great job, actually.
Was this the first time you saw yourself on the big screen?
Yeah, this is the first time, yeah.
And how do you feel?
It was really nice, yeah. It was really exciting, and yeah, I liked it a lot.
Sure.
He's doing a really good job. I'm so proud of him. Yeah, it's so nice. I'm so happy he's in the movie.
شو حبيت الفيلم؟
كثير رائع جدا وبشكر للممثلين وللحاضرين وبشكر للكاميرا.
He said yeah, he liked it a lot, and he's really excited for it to get published. Yeah, and he said thank you for all the staff and the workers that helped out on it.
Well, there's just one driver who can say they've been behind the wheel for every Targa Newfoundland race, and that's the faster pastor. Reverend Edison Wiltshire of Clarenville has been taking part in one form or another since 2002, and this year he's joined by his granddaughter, Olivia, who at just 17 years old is this year's youngest racer. Here Now's Jeremy Eaton caught up with them last week.
I have done every one of them since 2002 when Robert asked me to come on as the event pastor, and I've been here ever since. I'm going to say pride, but I'm not allowed to be too proud because I'm a pastor, right? But that's part of it. But mainly it's because I have a ministry to motorsports. And during my time over these last 24 years, I've done 4 baptisms, 2 weddings, and one of them during an event, and sadly 1 funeral. Countless numbers of encouraging chats with folks, especially when people run out of talent, you know. And then they need a shoulder to cry on, and since I've done the same, I think I'm a pretty good shoulder to cry on.
No, you should be fine. How you feeling?
Good.
This is Olivia. She is my grandkid, the only one. My co-driver, my navigator, was my wife Margot, who did, I guess, 21 Targas. She wasn't able to continue, so Olivia, she navigated for me in an earlier Bambina, which was a sort of like a baby Targa. She liked it, and now she's navigating officially as a full-fledged navigator and to be soon a co-driver, I'd say next year.
The only reason I'm not this year is because I don't know how to drive standard. I can't get her out of second gear.
Okay.
You got a good teacher though.
Yep, I do. I mean, I usually do it to make my papa happy because it means a lot to him, so.
Well, does it mean a lot to you then?
Yeah, it does.
What's your favorite part about doing this race with your grandfather?
I think meeting new people and seeing the cars.
We've bonded in a special way through this. We were always close, but I think we're even closer now. Although she did tell me last year when I made a couple of boo-boos, she looked at me and she said, "Papa, you know I love you, but you're some stupid." Because I had disobeyed 2 of her calls. It cost us 15 minutes to get back on track. So she said it like it was.
What was that like, getting to put him in his place?
It was really fun. I love doing it.
It's a lifelong support system.
Best friends.
And we laugh and joke all the time. We laugh at each other every day.
He loves it. He absolutely loves it. He's not going to miss school.
A school made possible thanks to one St. John's pioneer who didn't want to see any student left behind. That story still to come.
Well, some areas today saw the warmest temperatures ever recorded in September. How long is this going to last, though? We'll get into all the details coming up.
Well, before we get to the weather, let's look to the skies from last night. Around the world last night, stargazers took in the supermoon. It was a full moon and partial lunar eclipse all rolled into one. Here are some photos from across the country.
Yeah, like I mentioned last night, a supermoon happens when the moon is closest to the Earth in its monthly orbit and is full. It appears 30% brighter and much larger than it normally does because it is the closest to the Earth. But my goodness, it was spectacular last night coming home from work, just kind of looking over the horizon and seeing the full moon rising. It was something else.
That is gorgeous. I missed the lunar eclipse last night. What time? It was like 12:15 last
midnight.
night. That was at it was at maximum eclipse.
It was, and it did look like some areas across the island did see that enough, in between the partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. Some areas saw that, and particularly through Gander, and I believe it was Corner Brook was another area that I saw the eclipse. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing your photos with us. I have one later in the show. I'll share that with you. But for now, let's talk about the temperatures, because it is warm out there this afternoon. 26.9 degrees in St. Lawrence this afternoon, and temperatures in through Central seeing highs at around 26 degrees as well. So there were two areas for the Burin Peninsula that actually set the latest September record for temperatures this high. So St. Lawrence and both St. Lawrence and Winterland recorded their highest temperatures this late in September. So unfortunately, we're going to say goodbye to this heat, at least for the foreseeable future. We go back into a more fall-like situation. But for now, this is where we're sitting. So topped out at around 22 degrees in St. John's this afternoon. 16 is where we're sitting now. 18 in Gander. You saw that temperature drop a little earlier today, and definitely through Twillingate down to 12 degrees rather right now. Up across Labrador, temperatures still sitting somewhere between 11 to 15. And towards the coast tomorrow, your temperatures are definitely going to be cooler than that. So there's that area of low pressure that I was talking about, that associated cold front. We've got that more northerly flow that more is bringing that cooler air. And this is generally going to continue as we head through tonight. We've got lots of cloud cover in behind that and some of those showers that are associated with it. But yeah, it's feeling or going to feel very fall-like. But fall officially arrives on September 22nd at 10:13 in the morning Newfoundland time. And that day, we're looking at a sunrise at about 6:48 in the morning and our sunset at about 6:57. So we're below the 7 o'clock sunsets there. But yeah, other than that, the next couple of days are certainly going to be unsettled. We've got that shower activity just off the coast of off the west coast rather. Some showers around Port aux Basques area, and saw a few showers, a very small amount moving through across the island, or across the Avalon rather. And as we head through tonight, that shower activity is going to continue to track across central areas of the island, eventually the Avalon as well. And some heavier showers may develop for the southwestern portion of the province as well. But again, it will be through the overnight period. Temperatures tonight up across Labrador, cool but clear. Skies will be clear tonight. 5 to 7 degrees is your overnight lows tonight. Again, your winds are shifting to more northerly, hence this cooler air. So northern peninsula, 8 to 10 degrees. The rest of the island really looking at between 12 to 16. The warmest temperatures will be south at this point, but we're really not going to see a whole lot in the way of movement in the temperatures over the next couple of days, especially for the eastern half of the island, and we can thank that northerly flow for it. So into tomorrow morning, the first part of the day really, especially for eastern half of the island, is going to be wet. And then we've got some clearing potentially for the west coast of the island. It's still going to be a bit unsettled. Labrador, you're looking at the chance of showers pretty much across the board, with the exception of Lab West. You should actually see some sunshine tomorrow and be a beautiful afternoon, as a ridge of high pressure generally dominates your weather. And then as we get into the overnight, we should see some clearing, but I do think that most of us along the northeast coast are going to continue to see the cloud cover along with the unsettled conditions as well. Here's the drop in temperatures. 13 to 16 degrees as our daytime highs. Winds will pick up tomorrow evening. Northerlies will be between 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. As you head towards the west coast, those winds will be around 15 to 20 kilometers per hour, and temperatures a tad warmer. So you're talking about mid to upper teens. And then for Labrador coastal areas, we'll hang out in the single digits tomorrow, again with that unsettled conditions, but you're looking at a more, well, still above seasonable for this time of year, but Happy Valley Goose Bay will sit around 17, Lab City 19, and sunshine. Long range forecast coming up a little later.
Thanks, Ashley. The Vera Perlin Society is celebrating its 70th anniversary this week. The organization provides services for hundreds of people with disabilities, and as Here and Now's Heather Gillis reports, it's also working to preserve the memory of its founder.
This is Spirit Week at the Vera Perlin Society.
Hi, cameraman.
Hi. It provides services for people with intellectual disabilities. There are employment and some educational programs, case counseling, and fun stuff, too.
This is our creative arts program, and again, in our creative arts program, we do various different arts and crafts. Again, everything that we do here, we do based on the client's ability. We never focus on their disability.
Then there's the Perlin Players. Practicing an epic lip sync performance, complete with killer guitar solos. This building, all of these programs are here thanks to one woman. Vera Perlin started this organization back in 1954. It all began when she was on the board of a St. John's orphanage and saw 6 children with intellectual disabilities get left behind.
So when she went to the board meeting, she said, "What's going on with those children?" And the board people that day said basically, well, they're intellectually challenged, they can't learn, so we're not sending them to school. She was incensed.
It prompted Perlin to create their own classroom. Word spread, and by the time it got off the ground, there were enough students to start 2 classrooms for children with disabilities.
So Mrs. Perlin in 1957 said, well, I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to open a school. Bought a house on Patrick Street.
She didn't stop there, eventually opening this building, the Vera Perlin School, in 1966. Next, she took on the province, convincing government to take responsibility to offer education to everyone.
Finally, in 1971, and a lot of people don't know this, the government of the day accepted all responsibility for the education of all children, regardless if you had a disability, what that disability was, or what level that disability was. So she was successful in getting them to accept responsibility.
Then Perlin created preschool and after-school programs. Today, the Society is still offering lifelong support to people with disabilities, people like Randy, who has been taking part in programs here for nearly 40 years.
I can't say enough about here. Like the staff are absolutely amazing. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. He's not going to miss school. He has to be really sick not to get up and get ready and go.
Creating a hive of activity, a strong community.
I get to go on the computers. If I'm not too busy, I go to creative arts, make a craft.
I work in cafeteria and I help out with the phones, and sometimes I do the lip sync concerts.
What would it mean if this place wasn't here and you couldn't come here and do all of those things?
I don't know. I think it would be horrible.
Yeah.
To be stuck home watching TV when there's pretty much nothing on. I like it so much.
What do you like about it?
Be with Steve.
Is he your best friend?
Yes, best friends.
And we laugh and joke all the time. We laugh at each other every day.
Demand for programs here is still high, but Downer says there's still plenty to do, like opening more doors to post-secondary programs for some of their clients. The Vera Perlin Society is also working to preserve the memory of its founder with a rare set of art to mark Perlin's contributions and her legacy, celebrating 70 years of helping others. Heather Gillis, CBC News, St. John's.
Moose is organically grown, hormone-free, pesticide-free, lean meat, and a big part of Newfoundland's culture, and of course, and a magnificent thing to eat for your health.
A locally harvested moose will be featured in a field-to-table fundraiser put off by Rotary tomorrow evening. We'll sample some pulled moose sandwiches coming up.
org.
Well, moose hunting season has started. Lots of people are heading out to get their moose, and we're here today at O'Brien's Farm in the heart of St. John's, where they're getting ready for a fundraiser on Thursday evening. We're going to head on inside and find out more. And Todd Newhook joins us now. So Todd, before we get into the details about the fundraiser, you are in charge of the food on Thursday. So I'd like to know what's going to be on the menu.
Well, on the menu for Thursday evening, we're here at O'Brien's Farm, of course, and this is a moose pulled moose sandwich that we're going to serve on Thursday night with a selection of salads, coleslaw and other salads, and a dessert, of course. And this moose is one that I and Tom Cody, Chantel McDonald Newhook, John Templeton and I harvested last year in collaboration with the St. Andrew's Church, the Kirk. So they share the moose between the two charities, and of course it goes to this charity, the Rotary St. John's East, and also to Gathering Place and to other fundraising events, including Points for Polio, which is another Rotary fundraiser. So the moose is well used, and so what we do with this is John Templeton and I take 25 pounds of moose each, and we cook this down till it's completely braised. Then we add barbecue sauce, and then we add enough of the fluid back, or the gravy back from the cooking process, to make a braised pulled mousse affair, which is very similar to what you might have had, for example, if you had pulled pork before. Pretty straightforward. We've all made a sandwich before, right? So we have some delicious rolls. And Carolyn, I'll give you a little bowl of the pulled mousse here as well.
Thank you.
And of course, the straightforward thing, we just put this on the bread, of course. Spread that out like that. You can see there's lots of onions. We use 10 pounds of onions in this, because of course onions are a big part of enjoying mousse.
Yeah.
And the coleslaw, typically, people have it on the sandwich as well, to give a little bit of vegetable crunch while you're...
A little freshness.
A little bit of freshness. So that will go over the top like this.
So for people who don't necessarily like mousse, this probably doesn't even really taste a whole lot like mousse if it's cooked this way.
Well, I would suggest to you that if you didn't know it was mousse, you'd probably say it was beef, now to be quite frank. So here's the sandwich and how it'll look when you enjoy it.
So you caught this mousse yourself.
That's right.
And can you talk a bit about the benefits of mousse?
Well, mousse, of course, is hormone-free, it's antibiotic-free, organic, free-range, lean meat. What could be better for you? If you eat meat, this is the kind of meat we should eat, right? And more of it. But not only that, but of course, this is the fellowship of the harvest. 4 of us go out and we get this mousse. We involved in the Rotary community. So there are all those other benefits of the fellowship and community that go with that, of course.
And this is a charity license too,
That's right.
So
yes.
you catch this mousse in order to donate it to charity.
That's right. All of the mousse, it goes to charity. So nothing is consumed privately. The entire mousse is either used by the 2 charities, Rotary St. John's East or the Kirk, St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, or we donate it to Gathering Place or those other charities for consumption through those charities.
Okay. All right, let's give it a taste.
Yes, let's give it a go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm.
You approve?
I do. That's really good. Nancy Healy joins us now. You're helping to organize this event on Thursday. Delicious mousse sandwiches.
I'm glad you approve.
Yeah, very tasty. So tell us about what's going to be happening on Thursday night.
So we're doing an event here at O'Brien's Farm, and we're invited all our Rotarian clubs in the St. John's area to join us, but also the general public to come and to partake and to get out and see this great venue at O'Brien's Farm, but also to enjoy the mousse that we have. And it's a fundraiser for our club.
Yeah, and so how will the money raised be used?
So we use it, the Rotary Club does a number of initiatives. We're just, food security is an important priority for us, and we're going to be doing some meal preparation at the Gathering Place called Meals on Me. And not only will we, give our talent and helping out in the kitchen there, but we also need to have the finances to be able to pay for the meal that we're going to be serving. We plan to do that on a regular basis, so this fundraising event will help us with that particular event, as well hampers at Christmas time that we prepare and other things throughout the year.
Okay, so give us the details of Thursday night. How much are tickets and what time does everything get underway?
Okay, so tickets are $50 and you can find them at the Canada Helps website. Just look up the St. John's Club, Rotary Club of St. John's East. The event starts at 6:30 and we should be finished by 8:30, and tickets are $50, so and $20 of that is a charitable tax receipt.
Okay, Nancy Healy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck with it.
Thank you.
Well, turning now to a story from Halifax. For the last 6 months or so, 2 seniors have been living in a tent encampment in their city. They were displaced after their apartment building was sold and slated for teardown. As Hannah Vino reports, the pair is now moving into a new apartment thanks to some strangers who stepped in to help.
Up until recently, 77-year-old Judy Howe was living in this tent with her partner George. They are now getting settled in an apartment that they can call home. Howe says she is happy and thankful to be out of the increasingly cold weather.
Here and not worried about that. And we can leave here, get on the bus, go where we want to go, and know when we come back we don't have to worry that we don't have a place and we're not going back to something that's unsafe.
Howe says they are very appreciative to everyone who has helped, especially some anonymous donors. One donor covered their first rent payment, and another person is providing further financial support.
Thank God to them. I don't know who they are, but I hope they get to see this and know how much both of us appreciate what they did.
She also says it was thanks to volunteer Tamara Stein, who continuously helped them try to find accommodation. Stein says an apartment they had lined up last week fell through, but by coincidence, something else was offered up quickly.
Miraculously, the day the other apartment fell through, I heard from her. She's a leasing agent, and she said, I have something. I said, okay, George and Judy, do you want to go look? Let's see. Here we are.
Howe says that while she is grateful to feel safe, she still worries about others living rough.
I still worry about our friends that's there. And I know Tamara is working on doing what she can do to help them to get a place as well. She's like an angel that God's put on earth.
Stein says that while she is happy things worked out for this couple, there are still many others that need help.
So we're already working on getting another senior off of the street, and I pray that that all comes to fruition as well, just as quickly, because there's way too many seniors.
She says her work is ongoing and she's already helping get another senior off the streets. Hannah Vino, CBC News, Halifax.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre recently made MP pensions political. For weeks, he accused NDP leader Jagmeet Singh of keeping the government in power in order to qualify for his pension. But experts say Poilievre's own pension is estimated to be more than 3 times that of Singh's. Ashley Burke has the story.
Pierre Poilievre talking about anything but his pension.
A carbon tax election needed because
preferring to stick to his narrative. Mr. Poilievre's pension.
I'm not going to talk to anything like that.
In fact, no Conservative willing to talk after CBC News reported the estimated size of their leader's pension.
What do you think? I'm late for a meeting, thanks.
no comment.
But it was Poilievre who made MPs' pensions an issue.
He wanted his pension.
For weeks, he accused Jagmeet Singh of propping up the Liberals just long enough to qualify for his own MP pension.
Stop being sellout Singh. Put the people ahead of your pension.
Even releasing ads to drive that claim home.
Jagmeet Singh, he gets his pension. Trudeau gets power.
His pension is like 3.5 times in present value terms as compared to that of Jagmeet Singh.
CBC asked this expert to crunch the numbers. He estimates Poilievre could make more than $230,000 annually from his pension once he turns 65. That's the same amount the Prime Minister could make at 67 when his MP pension kicks in too. And if Singh qualifies, he could make more than $66,000 a year at 65.
The main reason why Mr. Poilievre's pension would be around 3.5 times larger is because he has about 3.5 times as much service.
And that has Liberals on the attack.
What Mr. Poilievre has tried to do with Mr. Singh's pension is pretty despicable.
Mr. Poilievre is the ultimate hypocrite.
Singh is also firing back against Poilievre's claim he's putting his pension ahead of Canadians.
It's another tired old lie that Pierre Poilievre likes to say, and it's a lie that he uses to distract from the facts.
A Conservative spokesperson said that Poilievre voted to cut politicians' pensions when he was a member of Stephen Harper's government, and said that Poilievre and Singh's situations are different, claiming that unlike Singh, Poilievre has never tried to keep the government in power to qualify or grow his pension. Singh says he hasn't either. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Hi, I'm Adam Walsh, host and producer of The Signal. You know, when you think about climate change, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. It's easy to feel a sense of despair. But when you look around, there are a lot of folks out there engaged in action, trying to make a difference. And that's where we are this week. We're having Climate Week on The Signal, Monday to Friday. The common thread, folks with the will and the want to fix the planet. So don't miss it. Climate Week on The Signal, 12:05 on the island, half an hour earlier in Labrador.
Hi, Paul Abbott here, St. John's, Newfoundland. We're starting the Targa, Newfoundland. We're here at the school, and just quick blurb on my 1989 Porsche 911 Targa edition. I've owned this car approximately 8 years now. It's completely stock. The only modifications, if you will, is a more aggressive wheel alignment, some performance tires, some performance brake pads, and that is pretty much everything on the car. It's a 5-speed, 217 horsepower, weighs about 2,800 pounds, so performance is really good. We're hoping to have a good run here. So I take this out in the spring every year, and I try to run as many kilometers as I can on it during the summer. It's so nice. The roof comes off. It's a Targa edition, so it's kind of a convertible, but it still has rollover bars. Approximately 200,000 kilometers on it. Never been apart, modified, or anything like that. German engineering, Porsche. So growing up, this was one of the poster cars. There was the Porsche, the Lamborghini, the Ferrari. This is probably the toughest out of the bunch.
dealer for details.
Well, before we bring Ashley back, how's this for a way to see Europe? This is the 67th edition of a long-distance balloon trip. The aim? Travel as far as possible. 21 teams took part, launching Saturday, but no one made it as far as the Austrian team, who took home the top spot after sailing more than 2,100 kilometers. Oh, that would be fun. Have you ever been up in a hot air balloon, Ashley?
I have not been
not either.
One.
Yeah.
I would love to, though. I mean, I guess the idea is a bit scary, but it's cool.
Yeah. It would be a beautiful view.
It really would be. I mean, I've flown in gliders before, which I feel like would be the same, just that's open. But I guess it's the same thing where you don't have an engine, so you're just going.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so let's talk about the weather, long-range forecast. Things are cooling down. We need to prepare ourselves.
We do, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't really see a whole lot of the heat that we've been seeing in the long-range forecast. In fact, it is going to feel very fall-like, which, as I showed you earlier, officially arrives on the weekend. Let's take a look at what's going on weather-wise. So here is a look at our Thursday evening, and it is going to bring some showers right along with it. And then as we head into the day on Friday, we're still in that northerly flow, and that means that this area of low pressure sitting offshore, that's what's bringing this northerly flow, and that is going to continue through Friday morning, bringing the chance of showers and in onshore flow, along with some drizzle potentials as well. Most of Labrador will sit in that cloud cover through the day as well. I know that graphic is cutting off the Avalon, but we are still seeing some of the shower. There you go, it's gone. Seeing some of that shower activity through the evening hours as well. But really, that onshore northerly flow is going to keep those temperatures cooler. Now, away from that, you're going to see temperatures a bit warmer and a bit more sunshine, but overall daytime highs will sit between 12 to 16 degrees. Labrador towards the coast, even cooler, single digits. You get away from that, Happy Valley Goose Bay sits around 22 degrees in Lab City. Plenty of sunshine. Summer very much hanging on for you. And then into Saturday, still looking at that area of low pressure offshore. That's again keeping us unsettled, keeping us in that northerly flow. So we're really not going to see a whole lot of change in the forecast as we head through the day on Saturday as well. Now, will there be some periods of light cloud or some sunshine in the mix? Certainly. The best chance of that will be, again, across or anywhere in and away from that northerly flow. Still lots of sunshine, though, for Lab West. And again, daytime highs will sit in somewhere between 10 to 15 or 16 degrees. Cooling a little bit in Lab West, 17 degrees, still well above where you should be sitting this time of year, and between 10 to 12 for the rest of the island, or rest of Labrador, rather. So here's a look at the upper level pattern that is bringing us all of that unsettled weather that will continue really through Sunday. And then eventually that area of low pressure starts to pull away, and that will bring us hopefully some reprieve from that. Here's a look at the long range forecast. Like I said, 12 to 13 degrees through the day, not a whole lot of change. Yes, there will be some sun in the mix at times, but overall it will be an unsettled forecast. We're looking at that through central Newfoundland as well. Your overnight lows in the single digits. Western Newfoundland, you don't really get into that rainy weather until we get into Sunday and Monday, and then up across Labrador. The west, anyway, will hang on to those showers, or east, rather, will hang on to those showers Sunday and Monday. But western Labrador, I mean, beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful forecast.
Western Labrador winning the weather lottery.
Absolutely,
for
absolutely. And if you didn't get to catch the moon as it was rising last night, this is a great shot of it in Carbonear.
Wow.
Thank you so much for that great shot. If you have any weather photos that you'd like to share with us, you can do that by sending them to my Facebook page. You can catch me there, or email them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
That is so bright. If it weren't so dark out, it almost looks like the sun.
It does,
yeah.
And it was that color as well. It's beautiful.
Yeah, great shot. Thank you so much for sending that in to us. And thank you, everyone at home, for spending part of your evening with us. Hope you can join us again tomorrow.
Good night.